Hi guys, welcome to Shields Cooking. Today we're going to make a beautiful oyster dish. The oysters I'm using today are here from the Netherlands, but the season is almost over. So once the season is over, you can also use some beautiful French ones or maybe some Irish ones. We're going to poach the oysters in a dashi beurre blanc and then we're going to serve them with a chives oil, crispy chicken skin and some caviar. If you haven't done already, please hit that subscribe button to support my channel and hit that notification button to be sure that you don't miss any amazing cooking videos. So, let's begin. We're going to begin with the dashi. First take 100 grams of kombu and cut it into smaller pieces. Then pour 4 liters of water into a big pot. Now add the kombu leaves and let it sit for 4 to 5 hours. Then bring this to a simmer on a medium heat. While it's coming to a simmer, scoop off the white foam with a ladle. Once the broth is almost at a simmer, let's say 90 degrees Celsius, gently remove the kombu. Then add 30 grams of bonito flakes and bring this to a simmer. Once it's simmering, turn off the heat and let it marinate for 15 minutes. Meanwhile, transfer 1 kilogram of chicken wings on an oven rack and also add 500 grams of chicken bones. Toast them at 200 degrees Celsius for 1 hour till nice and golden. Once the bonito has marinated, pass it through a fine sieve. Transfer the bonito flakes on a silicone sheet and dry them at 60 degrees Celsius. Now pour the dashi back into the pan and add the toasted chicken. Let this simmer for 90 minutes. After those 90 minutes, also add 100 grams of dried shiitake mushroom and let it simmer for 1 more hour. Then drain the broth and let it sit for at least 30 minutes, this so you don't waste a single drop. Meanwhile, trim the ends from 500 grams of spring onions and wash them. Now chop them. Then take 250 grams of onions, cut them in half, clean them and chop them. Once that's done, pour the dashi back into the pan and add the chopped spring onion and the onion. Let this simmer for 90 minutes. Then pass the dashi through a fine sieve and let it sit so you don't waste a single drop. After that, bring it to a simmer once more and use the ladle to remove the chicken fat. Now for the jelly. Weigh 160 grams of the dashi into a saucepan and then soak 1 leaf or 1.6 grams of gelatin in cold water. Now also add 1 gram of agar powder to the dashi and mix this well. Then bring it to a boil for 30 seconds. Once that's done, dissolve your gelatin. Now take a metal tray and add a thin layer of oil. Then pour 50 grams of the dashi jelly on the tray for a super thin jelly. Now let it set for 5 minutes on a level surface. Then let it set for 30 more minutes in your fridge. After that, cut it with a round cutter and keep it covered in your fridge for later. Now for the dashi sauce. Reduce 400 grams of dashi till you're left with 100 grams of reduction. This is like liquid gold. Then add 20 grams of cream and bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, turn down the heat and while stirring add 200 grams of cold cubes of butter. Then give it a little taste for seasoning. For me it needed a touch of rice vinegar to balance the creaminess. I also added a touch of salt. It doesn't need much because the sauce is already so flavorful. Then give it one more taste and keep it in your fridge for later. Now for the chives oil. Chop 20 grams of chives and transfer it into a blender. Also add 120 grams of neutral oil. Then blend this till the oil is at 65 degrees Celsius. It will heat up from the friction. After that, pass it through a fine sieve that's lined with a kitchen paper. Let it drain in your fridge to prevent it from changing color. Then the chicken skin. Take around 200 grams of chicken skin and spread it on a cutting board. Now use a palette knife to remove all the fat. Then spread the cleaned skin on a silicone sheet. Season it with a touch of salt and then put another sheet on top. Cover this with something heavy and bake it at 160 degrees Celsius for around 30 minutes till golden and crispy. Then let it cool down. Once that's done, chop it. Now take the dry bonito flakes and crunch them with your hands into a fine flake. Mix 1 part of bonito flakes with 2 parts of chicken skin. Keep this dry and covered for later. Then for the fresh gel. Mix 50 grams of ginger syrup with 80 grams of sushi vinegar, 20 grams of sugar and 2 grams of agar powder. Now mix this well and then bring it to a boil for 1 minute. After that, pour it into a bowl and let it set in your fridge. Then transfer it into a blender and blend it into a smooth gel. Transfer it into a piping bottle and keep it in your fridge for later. Then the oysters. Put an oyster between a kitchen cloth to protect your hands and insert an oyster knife in the joint. Then twist it to pop the joint and gently cut the mussel on the flat side. Now cut the mussel loose on the round side of the shell and transfer it on a metal tray. Repeat this process with all the oysters. And keep them covered in your fridge for later. Now transfer the round shells in some warm water and clean them. Then lay them on a tray and let them dry. After that, we can start to finish the dish. First, lay the oyster shells on some Korea salt to keep them level. Then bring a small amount of dashi beurre blanc to a simmer. Once it's simmering, turn off the heat and add the oysters. Let them poach for 40 to 50 seconds. Then transfer them onto the shells and cover them with the sauce. Now add a drizzle of the chives oil. Gently cover this with the dashi jelly and then add chicken skin crumble. Now pipe a couple of dots of the fresh gel on top and place some caviar and mayflowers in between the dots. Okay guys, that's it for today. I'm really happy with the result. I'm especially curious to taste the sauce in combination with the chicken skin, but I'm sure it's going to be amazing because the sauce, I'll tell you, I've been eating it all day long because yeah, that's incredible. It's so much flavor. So let's just dig in because I can't wait to taste the combination. I'm not sure how I'm gonna eat this because it is pretty full and I put a lot in one tiny shell, but yeah, let's just dig in. That's a lot, but it is so good. The crispy chicken skin gives it a little bit of a crunch. The oyster has a lot of texture, obviously, but that sauce in combination with the chives oil, boom, that's amazing. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that was really good. The caviar was nice. It also has some flavor, but the dish doesn't really need it actually because the sauce and the chicken skin, it has so much umami. So the caviar, it's nice, but you don't need to add it if you don't have it. So yeah, overall, really pleased. The oyster season here in the Netherlands is only for a couple of more weeks, so get them while you can, and otherwise it's a great one for next season. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments on what you want to see next. Like and share the video, and subscribe if you want to support my channel and see more amazing cooking videos. And as always, bon appetit!